Hi, I'm Mark Swans, Civil Discourse Now. This is January 9th, 2025. We are going to be talking about an interesting topic today with a disgusting person as the focus of that conversation. And with us today, Cassie Jackson. Cassie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And we got Gregory Vander Wygen. Gregory, how are you?
Doing all right. How about you?
Oh, just groovy. So we're going to talk about Indiana's lieutenant governor-elect. He gets sworn in yet tomorrow, I think, the day after, and that would be Micah Beckwith. Beckwith did an end run on voters and was nominated by the Republican Party convention last summer, and he's about to become lieutenant governor, and the governor's office is stripping the office of lieutenant governor of a lot of the authority and powers that it has, because he's the one that's going to be coming in. And we're going to talk about that in the next segment. But right now, we're going to talk about Beckwith and on a more mundane level with his ministering world, or however you want to term it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say more mundane, because he's when you hear this, these are going to be some quite interesting little tidbits that Gregory has remembered and is going to share with us. But yeah, if you guys don't remember Gregory is one of Mr. Beckwith's child abuse survivors. And so he shared previously on a podcast I did with him about how Micah Beckwith entrapped him and would not let him leave. And there was more things to that I don't want to speak for you. But he also shared some new things with me that he's going to share with us now. So thanks for coming, Gregory. I appreciate it. You want to tell him anything else about yourself too? Sorry, that wasn't a very good introduction. If you want
to. I'll just get right to the point. So when I was 18 over at Northview, and I was sitting out in the seats, and Micah Beckwith got on stage, pulls out a guitar. He starts playing the guitar, and he's like, "Rub your neighbor's elbow, rub your neighbor's elbow." And then two of the youth leaders started rubbing my elbow, and the one next to me kept touching my elbow over and over again as I was repeatedly swatting his hand away. The one on the right stopped touching me after I swat his hand away. But then when they said, "Rub your neighbor's knee, rub your neighbor's knee," the one on the right started rubbing my knee, and then I swatted his hand away. And the one on the right stopped after that again. But the one on the left, he just kept touching my knee over and over again, and I eventually went outside.
And so they were encouraging them to do that to the other teens in the room.
Yeah.
The other teens were told to like rub their partners or neighbors, like,
Yeah.
that was the point.
Mm-hmm.
Were you guys like sitting down?
Sitting down, yeah.
And singing?
Well, Micah was singing
about, and he was like, "Rub your neighbor's elbow, rub your neighbor's knee. I am Jesus freak. I am he." You like that, guys? That was a good one. But no, what was that? You're like, wow, does the town
it was more country.
oh, okay. I won't try an impersonation. Okay, but it wasn't like a Christian song about rubbing each other's body.
It wasn't Christian oriented. It was just kind of supposed to. I think he was. His goal was to try to be silly and funny, but it was just really.
And were the other teenagers participating by touching one another?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure they were loving that too. Okay, and then what else are we talking about? Anything else?
They played Valentine's Day musical chairs.
Oh, that's right. Listen to this, Mark.
So
this is.
I feel like I didn't sleep last night, so I feel like the dopamine in my brain is kind of increasing a little bit. So it's making it harder for me to not crack up.
It's fine.
Yes. So the reason I didn't sleep last night is because I had an Arnold Palmer last night that I didn't realize had caffeine in it.
Oh no.
Because I hadn't had an Arnold Palmer in years. Like, I think the last time I had one was when I worked at McAllister's.
Oh, okay.
So
okay, so what were we?
And he told like all the guys if they wanted to play like.
Okay, here we're back to Beckwith, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Back to the musical chairs. Valentine's
He told all the
Day.
guys to find a girl, and then he told all the girls to sit down.
What? Wait, you didn't tell me this part. Okay, this is musical chairs on Valentine's Day at Micah Beckwith's church as a youth leader. This is what he wants kids to do.
This wasn't Micah Beckwith. I think this was a different
youth leader. Okay, yeah. Go on. This was the.
But and then he told all the guys to like sit down like on a girl's lap, and if they couldn't find the girl's lap to sit on, they would be out.
Oh my gosh. So the girls were the musical chairs as they sat on the chairs. And then as the boys ran around, they sat, if they did, they got it. Oh man. Wow. Okay. And then did they do it the other time, the way with the boys sitting and the girls going?
No.
I bet they didn't. Well, look, they had some discretion apparently. Wow. I'm sure the kids love that one too. And you did not participate in that?
Well,
He's like, well, this one, as a teenage boy, I was okay with this.
well, they kind of had me manipulated into thinking that,
Yeah.
like, Greg, if you want a girlfriend, you need to do this kind of stuff.
Did they say that?
Well, that was kind of the culture. That wasn't really what
Okay.
they said, but essentially, I sat on, like, my butt was like on the very edge of the girl's knee, and I felt really uncomfortable doing it. And I think after the first time I sat down, I'm just like, this is really awkward and uncomfortable. I'm gonna get up and go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean,
when
I'm
was
like
this roughly?
And the girls looked really uncomfortable.
comfortable. Yeah, I'm like being playful about this, but it's not funny at all. I mean, this is not, you don't, of all the places where you have bring teenagers together in groups for whatever kind of community activity or support, like it's very weird to me that it's at the churches where they're singing songs about touching knees and elbows and encouraging that, and then having games where they're sitting on laps of other, I mean, that just, that doesn't happen in a lot of other places where kids organize.
Yeah, but how long ago was this, Gregory? A year or 2 years? What's
I think the Valentine's Day musical chairs incident was when I was 17.
okay?
So, but how old are you now?
I'm 25.
So that
Okay.
was about 8 years ago, but that was when Beckwith was the youth leader at Northview Carmel Church, the Northview Church in Carmel.
And he's no longer there, am I correct?
No, he had to leave because of the stuff that he had going on with all the kids. That's also where he was horrible to Hannah, who,
Well, the truth is, I've never actually met Hannah in person.
yeah, and he told her not to Brett Kavanaugh her sexual assault that happened by the other members of the church, and then even tried to take legal action. And so I think Northview was just done with Micah. Now, Micah will tell you on his resume that he was called to a higher, to be more political. And so that, and I guess Life Church like that, but he went from one church that was not cool and to one that was, I think, even like now it's a backyard cult. Life Church is a backyard cult for sure in the evangelical denomination. Anyway.
So did you stay at that church, or did he stay, or?
I would actually call Micah Beckwith's denomination Disciples of the Mentally Insane.
Yeah.
Okay, but when did you leave that church, though, Gregory?
He left.
I left that church when I found out that one of the people who got me involved with Christianity was homophobic.
Okay.
Okay, so that was a number of years ago. He went to a different church, and now he's lieutenant governor of the state.
But the church Mark, the church before Northview, he was also in the children's ministry there, and he had to leave that one because of what was going on there. And I won't get into that with kids. So that's what I mean. There's the past two churches, and now he's at Life Church.
And that Life Church has several locations, right?
Yeah, 4.
Right? Okay.
Anyway, go on with what you were going to say.
Oh no, I was asking questions of Gregory. And then I made the statement that was really kind of a drag because we've got him as lieutenant governor now. And I've not seen or heard anything from Beckwith that would indicate that he went through any kind of sensitivity training after this particular period, which would indicate to me that he feels he didn't do anything wrong.
No.
And that's
he no longer has the role as being around like a child minister. He got the lead pastor role,
Well, he's not doing anything wrong. We just don't let him around kids.
Right. But Tina Pavey, the lead ministry pastor there, is just as wrong. Again, I'm getting off track. Do you want to tell us? Let's go back to what we were originally talking about. Is that cool?
I think part of the reason he won is most people in Indiana don't know who he is.
Well, I mean, that's saying why they didn't not vote for him. There wasn't very much publicity on him. If there had been, there would have been some pushback, but especially pushback in terms of him recruiting people to be delegates at the convention last summer. So he would, on the basis of 891 votes, get the nomination of the party for lieutenant governor.
Right.
And I got more votes than that in the Democratic primary in 2020.
Yeah.
And when I ran for state rep, and when I ran for city council, In other words, every single time. And that was determined something for the state.
What he can do to still harm in the Senate. Yeah.
What he can do to still harm what?
In the Senate. Mark, do you want to tell us, like we were talking earlier, remember about,
We're going to go into that in the next segment.
oh, next segment. Okay, my bad. All right,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, and so we're going to close this one now. Mark Small, this is Civil Discourse Now.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
Bye. Thanks, Mark.